Hey team, my name is Chris and I'm a surgical service registrar in paediatric surgery. And today I wanted to talk to you about building mental relationships in medicine that are targeted towards maximizing your peak performance. I want to start by asking you a question. Why is it that in peak professional performance in sports, we talk about targeted and effective coaching and teams to get individual athletes to where they need to be, but in civilian medical practice, in civilian professional practice in general, we don't consider training in that way? This question has always fascinated me, particularly as it relates to surgical training, but it can be broadly applied to all medical training. Within medicine, the stakes involved are greater than those that face even the highest level professional athlete, and the technical proficiency and knowledge required is at least equal to that faces a professional sports person. And so the question is, well, why is it that within Olympic training or professional sports training, we build entire training apparatuses around individuals, and yet within medical training, we don't do that? It would be as if there was no such thing as a professional tennis coach, but instead we took promising junior players and we partnered them with more senior players, and we hoped that they learned through osmosis and opportunistic feedback and by following an example. It's functional, but is it optimal, and does it lead to the best possible outcome? In medical training, the analogies with peak performance in sport are multiple. Both require consistency of peak performance with minimal margin for error. Both have a considerable physical and mental toll over time, and both require you to incrementally improve your knowledge and your technical proficiency from a baseline level to an expert level. So how do you as an individual then build a team around you that is targeted towards performing all of the functions that you need in order to achieve all of those peak performance objectives? The first is to break down which categories or areas in your training you need external inputs in order to improve your overall performance. For the sake of example, let's say they are nutrition, mental health and awareness, technical skills, knowledge, and experience. You could allocate whichever areas that you need to, but you need to audit which areas are required in order to build a team that fulfills those functions. Just like if you were a professional athlete, you might have a strength coach, a conditioning coach, a dietitian that can draw up nutrition plans for you. In any case, you have a team of people who are targeted towards specific needs, which are then going to give you the outputs that you need to improve yourself for peak and optimal performance on a day-by-day basis. So once you've allocated the areas that you need, the next step is to approach people who can fill those functions for you, whether they're informal or formal, whether they're in person or digital. In any case, you need to make sure that you've allocated some person or something to each of those areas so that you can be pushed forward and held accountable in each of those areas, ultimately guaranteeing peak performance. From a diet and nutrition point of view, you might approach a dietitian to draw up a nutrition plan for you that might last 4 to 6 months that's targeted toward the rotations or the areas that you're going to be working in. For knowledge, you might approach a senior peer or someone who's a little further ahead of you who can guide you through the study process of a particular area or topic and then hold you accountable to your progress in that area as well. From a mental health point of view, it might be that you find a performance psychologist or a life coach, or somebody who can work through any issues that you might be having, whether it's anxiety with exams or getting the confidence to move into that next step or role that may be along your career pathway. From an experience point of view, it might be that you find somebody who's recently retired who has a wealth of experience and can act as a touchstone for any complex situations or problems that you might come across, that having someone with a career's worth of advice might be able to help you navigate. Many of us do these sorts of things informally, but I'd encourage you to take the formal step of actually drawing up a plan and writing it out so that you know that you're covering all the areas that you need to. The reason for this is that each of these areas represents a concerted effort to allocate a person or some level of expertise to your own personal growth to get to the outcome that you're looking for. And if you're not doing this as a formal activity, then sometimes as an informal activity, it's easy to miss or to not think that you need external help in certain areas that you really do. The overall aim is to achieve a consistent and targeted input in the same way as a professional athlete would consider consistent and targeted inputs necessary to get them to their competition goals. Except from a medical and a surgical point of view, what you're looking for is peak performance every day to maximize the best patient outcome. So tell me what you think. Have you done this? Do you think the idea has merit? And if you think it does, then what coaches or expertise do you think would be necessary to improve someone's growth in medicine or surgery? And do you have any suggestions for people out there who might be just starting this process? Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. And until next time, enjoy the work.